Hello everybody, it's Andrew Hutchings here, still not in the best shape because I need to lose weight. Still got pretty good muscle underlying everything. But you can't see it too well, especially not at subpar angles, with subpar lighting, with subpar body fat. This video is about, do bodybuilders really have that much muscle? So you've seen guys, they look huge. And you're thinking, wow, they've got like so much more, they're huge. Like they weigh 250 pounds, 300 pounds, they got way more muscle than everybody else. Do they actually have more muscle? And the answer is sometimes. And I gotta clarify something. I didn't know a better word for the people than bodybuilders, but like the pro bodybuilders that competing for Mr. Olympia, yeah, they really have the muscle tissue. But lately I've been like watching more fitness people on YouTube just because I've had some free time, and I've noticed that one, there's a lot of people out there who think that they're like practically Mr. Olympia, or they literally think that they can like compete in Mr. Olympia, but they've never done it, of course, because like, yeah, they don't care about it. I mean, for me, I have not competed in natural bodybuilding yet because, well, when I was in the United States, every competition got canceled. And then I was thinking, well, I'm in Belarus now, I'll go over to Ukraine when they have a competition there, and guess what? Border got closed. But guess what? I might have to leave Belarus and go to Ukraine for some other reason, so who knows, maybe I'll be there and I'll compete, but I have not been focusing on getting lean, so I would not look the greatest. It'd be kind of funny for me to be on stage. I'd be leaner than this because it's not for about a month, but yeah, I'm definitely not lean enough for competition. So yeah, there's a lot of people who like are really big, and I don't know if you can notice it, but they just don't look quite the same as like Mr. Olympia guys. And why is that? Like, how can they have such big muscles? Maybe you don't notice it, but the thing is, they don't actually have such big muscles. A lot of people who have really big, like, technically it is their muscle that's very big, it's just that their muscles are very full of water. So I'm not going to name any names, but I've seen certain people on YouTube who are very big, but to the trained eye, you're like, yeah, they're like a little bit bigger than a natural guy like myself, but they've got a ton of water. And the thing is, they've had a lot of water for a long time. So like, and I can't say how I would react, but like if I took a ton of aromatizing steroid and a ton of human growth hormone, I would retain a lot of water and I would like get big. But if I kept doing it and doing it longer and longer and longer, like, so I would get the initial bigness, and then over time it would slowly, I would be able to stretch the cells even more. But of course you would accumulate some extra muscle. But what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of guys out there who are very big, but it's not mostly muscle. If they were to stop all of their drugs in a matter of weeks or a couple months, they would shrink down to about my size. But they look huge. They look like, I can't do it because I can't fill my body up with water. But like, they look really big, they're very heavy, but it's not muscle, it's just water. And now if you watched a recent video of mine about how fast can you gain muscle and lose muscle with drugs, I gave an example of a guy who was like, okay, I'll be done in 1 minute. She said less loud, who was like IFBB pro men's physique level, and then he retained water to look like classic physique level. And I said that in like a few months, he got down to the size of like a guy who swims. I'm not talking about Olympic swimmer, I'm talking about just guy who swims recreationally. He's like skinny, a little bit of muscle. He really downsized. But that's not a usual case because he went off all his drugs. So he lost all the water like I'm talking about. But more important than that is he went off all his food. He's like hardly eating anything. I mean like a bowl of cereal per day. Maybe. Probably at least that. But of course, like some days with no food at all. But rarely more than like a bowl of cereal per day. And I'm not talking about like some special nutritious cereal. I'm talking about like Cocoa Puffs. And not a very big bowl. And that's if he put milk in it. A lot of times he just eat it out of the box. But yeah, he went off all the drugs, all the food, and stopped working out. And was using meth. And was using fentanyl. So yeah, if you have, and he had no natural production of testosterone. So you've got zero androgenic hormones in your body. You got almost zero food. You got zero activity. And you're cranking up your adrenaline and cortisol. I mean, of course, the fentanyl counteracts it a bit, but like also the muscles are lax and they don't have tension, so that also contributes to them wasting away. That's a special case of muscle loss. But these other guys, like you'll see on YouTube, that look really big. If they simply went off all their all their drugs and got down to like a normal testosterone level, and they continued eating properly and they continued training properly, they would only be perhaps a little bit bigger than me, if that. I mean, probably about my size or a little bit bigger. Probably not smaller if they're looking huge. But yeah, it's a lot of just water. Probably if you started an aromatizable steroid like testosterone or D-bol today, in a few months, even if you didn't gain any muscle, you would gain like at least 10 pounds of water, if not 15. If you're a big guy, you might gain 20 pounds of water. And 20 pounds of water can make you look a lot bigger. But the thing is, if you kept on that for years, and you keep upping the dose as your body gets used to it, and you just keep stretching and stretching yourself, you're gonna keep getting, like, you're gonna end up really big looking. But it's not, I mean, it's muscle, but it's water-filled muscle. So yeah, I just felt like making this video. The real bodybuilders, of course, they have actual muscle tissue that's really big, and you know that because they go on stage dehydrated. As much as you can dehydrate while being on a lot of drugs. Now, of course, they probably cut out a lot of the drugs, but they don't want to cut out too much. Like, they don't want to go out looking flat. But yeah, that's muscle tissue. In their off season, they probably gain a lot of stuff that isn't muscle tissue, but it's really these social media bodybuilders or amateur bodybuilders who just get a lot of water puffing them up. And they look huge, they think they're huge, other people think they're huge, but they're really not. And you can tell because it looks like an inflated version of someone like my size. Like, they don't have all of the, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not like solid, hard muscle with definition. It's just big. Hope you like this video. My website is andrewhutchings.org for consultations. My Instagram is natural_true_fitness.